All right, man, peace. You know, brothers, in any competitive field, you always have to look out for a possible or potential rival, a threat to the throne, a threat to your supremacy. And that's not any different in the NBA, where the most prominent team, that being the Golden State Warriors, they're looking out for who may be the biggest threat to their throne, to usurp their supremacy. And in the view of Klay Thompson, that team is the Boston Celtics. So they're going to talk about it, and I'm going to chime in.
And I can tell you guys, these Celtics are mighty confident about their squad this season, and even Klay Thompson seemed to agree. Here was his response when he was asked who the biggest threat to the Warriors were this upcoming season.
I like the team out east in Boston. They got a very nice young team. 1 through 5, man. They got a team that kind of mirrors ours as far.
You know, quiet as kept, the Golden State Warriors thought that they were going to face the Boston Celtics last season. If you guys remember, they had a great game in Boston. Golden State had a huge lead, and the Celtics came back, played phenomenal defense in the second half. Kyrie took over the last 2 or 3 minutes, and they were able to win a barn burner. And after that game, Steph Curry stated that he expected to see them in the finals. And everybody made a big deal about it. They claimed that he was disrespecting LeBron James, so on and so forth. But great teams and great players, they know when they face a team that has the potential to challenge them. And the Warriors knew that the Celtics were a far better overall team than the Cleveland Cavaliers. I still picked the Cavaliers to get to the finals because LeBron James is so accustomed to getting to the finals and so experienced. I thought that he would find a way against that team full of neophytes led by Kyrie. Now, in hindsight, it's very obvious to me that had Kyrie not gotten hurt, they would have beaten the Cleveland Cavaliers. For that series to go 7 without Kyrie and Gordon Hayward, they would have made it to the finals. And now Klay Thompson is seeing what everybody else pretty much is seeing. That being that the Boston Celtics, they kind of sort of mirror the Golden State Warriors with their passing, their defense, and their shooting. The only issue is, are their individual players as talented, or can they make up that disparity, that gap in individual talent with dogged determination? We're going to find out.
As far as their length, guys who can shoot and play defense, and an unselfish way about things. So I think they are going to be a team to reckon with.
All right. Do you think Klay is just being nice because he has to say someone? He can't just sit in front of the camera and say no one's going to beat us? Or do you think he's legit and he's right?
No, he's being very, very sincere. Because in all reality, he does not have to say the Boston Celtics. He could have said the Houston Rockets. If he was really trying to be nice, he would have said the LA Lakers. But he knows what's up.
He knows what he's talking about. It's the younger version of the Warriors. They only have one championship. They don't have as much championship experience, but just a younger version. They got great young talent, a lot of future stars on their team. But, you know, when you're dealing with the Warriors, you're talking about experience, you're talking about MVPs, you're talking about championships. So it's a lot different. But if you have to compare a team to them that's the closest to them, you have to go to Boston.
Man, the disrespect for the Houston Rockets. I mean, this is Game 7. I realize that Trevor Ariza, Trevor Ariza must have been the MVP. And I recognize that the Rockets aren't quite as good as they were, but they were this close. They were this close to getting them. And you know, for Kyrie, I don't blame Kyrie for talking like that. And
you mean Klay or Kyrie? Oh, for Kyrie to say that he wants to...
Yeah, I mean, the Warriors are the hunted. He should be hunting.
Yes.
I was surprised that Klay said it. But you know what? One thing I love about Klay is he's honest.
Yes.
And maybe that's how they really feel. Maybe they really feel that they can beat Houston, and that Houston got weaker, and with DeMarcus they got stronger.
Or maybe they really just feel like that series never should have won 7 games in the first place. Maybe they understand that had it not been for Iguodala and some mental errors down the stretch of Game 4, that series should have won 5 games.
They got stronger, and so I don't want Klay to stop telling the truth. So I don't want to get mad at him, but I'm just surprised that Houston wasn't the first one off his line.
I love this Celtics team, but I'm going to take a step back from you. This is not a young Warriors team yet. They got to prove it to me out on the court. You got a Steph Curry, the greatest shooter of all time. I'm not sure that's on that team. I mean, you could go down the list. Kevin Durant. I mean, they added Boogie Cousins, people.
Right.
So yes, I think the Celtics are loaded with talent, and those young guys took huge strides last year. I got to see it though before I can say that's a young Warriors squad.
I have to see it also. I still believe that the Boston Celtics, they're going to have some continuity issues on that team. They're going to have some synergy issues on that team because they're so deep, especially at their guard position and their small forward position, that you're not going to tell me that at some point in the season, you're not going to have players complaining about playing time. When you have Marcus Smart, Kyrie, Terry Rozier, Jaylen Brown, all basically trying to compete for playing time. We know that Kyrie's going to get the bulk of the minutes. And we know that sometimes they like to play Marcus Smart at the 1. Well, where is Terry Rozier going to get his minutes? He's also in a contract year. So these are some of the dynamics that can affect a team that's trying to win a championship.
I think all of us want the same thing. We want a competitive finals.
Yeah.
Whether that's Toronto, whether that's Boston, whether that's Philly. The last 2 years haven't been competitive for various reasons.
Well, Philly would not be competitive if they made it to the finals. They don't have enough experience yet.
I want to see a competitive finals, and if that's what the Celtics deliver, I'm all for it.
Yeah, and they bring in competition. Like, these young guys are hungry, and they're not only they're talented. You can X each other out with Kyrie and Steph. Both of those guys will be dominant and carry the series. But I just think these young guys, they're hungry, they're competing, they're not scared of the Warriors.
That's true. I agree with that.
And by the way, I'm not going to jump the Jimmy Butler conversation because we're going to talk so much about Jimmy Butler today. But I mean, the Rockets have been in the conversation, at least for Jimmy Butler. That could change this conversation.
Absolutely.
Also,
Big
right?
time.
Yeah, but you know what? If the Rockets were to get Jimmy Butler, it would be very interesting what the dynamic between James Harden and Jimmy Butler would be.
They have an offer in. Do they have the best offer? I don't know, but they have an offer in. And you know, whenever there's a star available, Daryl Morey's trying to make it happen.
And to be quite frank with you, in order for them to get that trade greenlit, they would have to give up so many pieces that they probably would not even be in the position to defeat the Golden State Warriors anyway. Because at last check, Tom Thibodeau was asking for P.J. Tucker and Eric Gordon. And that would just be way too much for Jimmy Butler.
And if they land Jimmy Butler, I wouldn't put them at the top, but just remember that where a team is here in September isn't where they're necessarily going to be next spring.
But that'll be scary. You're talking about Chris Paul, James Harden, Carmelo, Capella, and Jimmy Butler. That's a nice starting 5.
Want
You
to
just
turn
traded
around?
Eric Gordon.
Want to turn around? He's 6
But anyway, that's basically it on that. We'll see exactly who the greatest rivalry for the Warriors will be this coming regular season. As the repeat champions, you know that everybody's going to be coming for their heads. So expect great matchups against New Orleans, Oklahoma City, LA, Houston, Toronto, Philly, and Boston when they match up with the Warriors. So peace.